So, hey guys, Chowser here. So yeah, this is going to be a weird video. This all started with a Discord conversation I had, where we just talked about, basically One Piece characters that only has good One Piece Treasure Cruise units. So yeah, if we talk about units who have characters who have a lot of good units, we could talk about like Luffy. But like if you look up all units that Luffy has over the years, there are a lot of bad Luffy units that you never use, which means we're ignoring all units like that. We're only looking at characters that only has good units. So yeah, just a fun little list. And yeah, I made another condition, needs to have at least 3 units in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Otherwise, a lot of the newest units are heavily biased. I'm talking units like Queen, like Weevil, stuff like that. No, you need to reach 3 units to make my list. My original idea was just find 10 units and just do a fun video. But I ended up finding so many, like I actually found like 30 units. But then I ended up cutting like 10 because I was like, oh, this unit wasn't really good. Disqualified. So I disqualified like 10 more units. And I had 20 left. And yeah, my only... I really wanted the worst unit to have some realistic potential use. At least as long as I could see potential use for the worst unit, it was fine in my book. And yeah, when I started making this, I thought it would be fun to like rank them a bit, just for fun. And then when I started doing my ranking, it ended up being super arbitrary. So I was like, I hate arbitrary stuff. This has to be non-arbitrary or less arbitrary. So I made a point system. And yeah, basically I ended up giving every single unit from these 20 characters a point from 1 to 5. Then I divided that with the amount of units they had, and we got an average score for all of the 20 characters, and that ended up doing a ranking. And yeah, in case of a tie, I prioritized the units with more units. And yeah, the point scale is 0. That's units that I see no reason to use. And if a character had a unit with 0, that character was disqualified. So we end up with 20 characters that had no zeros, basically. Otherwise, 1, meh, just meh. Like, you wouldn't use it, but it might end up happening. 2, niche, like, if the need arises, you can definitely use it. 3, like, good. You can use it quite a bit. 4, great. These are just units you, like, go-to units that you use a lot. And then just 5, amazing, like the best units in the game. That's the kind of thing. And then, of course, the question, is this a tier list? I know, it's just a fun little experiment. I don't do tier list. Okay, so for this video, we are going to go to rank 20 to 11. I leave the top 10 for tomorrow. Mostly because I don't want the video to be too long. And I also think it will be fun a bit to speculate who the top 10 could be, who number 1 could be. So yeah, let's get on with this. And yeah. Rank 20 and 19 are being very low points. But yeah, I will stand by the fact that I think that neither Zephyr nor Senior Pink has any bad units in the game. The problem for them is that they don't really have a good unit either. I do think that Raid Senior Pink is fine. Like, I've actually used him in some Kizuna, like when you pair him up with something that ignores the lame unity, like Legend Usopp, and you need to remove some chain debuffs, then he's fine. I actually used him for that. For Zephyr, I picked the Legend one. He's not that amazing, but he's pretty fun to use. He's pretty unique. It's just that his uniqueness isn't that viable. The rest of these don't have many good units. For Zephyr, I chose the Raid one. The Call of Zephyr isn't that good either. I think I put a 1 on both of them. And then for Senior Pink, I put this limited rare recruit young Senior Pink. He does some Ormanep, I think, and like 1.5 times color affinity, so pretty meh. And yeah, he has some other rare recruits that I definitely don't consider them bad. It's just there's rarely any reason to use them. Senior Pink needs better support. Moving on. Now we have Nekomamushi at 18 and Alwida at 17. And yeah, finally for Neko, I ended up putting his legend as a con. Like, I'm not saying he's the worst unit, but I find it remarkable that I ranked a legend that low among the rest. The cool thing with Neko is that he has a ton of like 2-3 star units, and all of them are not bad. It's really remarkable. Like, they all do some utility and chain buff and such, so it's really cool combinations. Problem for Neko is that there's not many amazing units, like the Raid is fine, the Inoneku Legend is fine, the new Strength Recruit is fine, but otherwise it's a lot of meh and niche units in general. For Awida, basically she has 4 units, 2 of them got 3 points, 2 of them got 1 points, and yeah, the 1 points are basically the Storm Mode Alwida and the Kola Alwida. They are basically just damage reduction. Kola Alwida does some attack boost as well, I think. So, yeah, honestly, the Storm Mode Alwida is borderline disqualifying Alwida, but damage reduction is always fine, I think. It's still not that common, so it's good to have. And yeah, Rare Recruit Alwida, the next one, and Limited Rare Recruit Alwida, the Sai one, both very solid units. Moving on, we have Radio and Caesar. And yeah, I think Caesar is most interesting to talk about here because what makes Caesar make this list really is that like all of the Caesar units does some combination of poison and like attack buff or utility or something. So in my opinion, you can't call a unit like that like outright bad. But it's not like they are stand out a lot, but I can definitely see them get some potential use, like the old Dex Recruit Caesar with inflicting poison, doing a driven attack boost for 2 turns by 1.75 times. Sadly, I can't really remember what this Caesar I posted here did anymore. He did bomb board manip, which is pretty funny because not many units do that. But yeah, obviously that's pretty niche, super niche, but yeah, not bad at all. I'd actually put the support Caesar as the best Caesar unit, even if you don't want to use him, you want to put him as support. Caesar's best units otherwise are obviously the Limited Rare Recruit with a lot of bind removal, chain boost over multiple stages, and quick Rare Recruit one from Sugar and Smoker Batch, who has a lot of utility, but yeah, pretty niche, I'd say. For Radio, this into Radio I put as a con, almost disqualified Radio. Does some orb manip, lets you change orbs. It was not very impressive, but I thought it was very borderline, I must say. But yeah, Radio's main problem was that she didn't really have many units that I put very high scores on. The only force was for this treasure map Radio, as well as the new Radio from JP Annie, who is actually very amazing. But yeah, pretty decent score anyway. Moving on. And yeah, we end up with Yosu now and Pedro. 2 units I think might surprise many. Yosu was one of the first units I thought about this topic, with no bad units. And yeah, Yosu has 4 units. I put the Color unit as a con, but I use him every day on my CC farming team. He has an old quick rare recruit that makes him immune to strength damage, I think, for 1 turn. Damage immunity is never bad. And then we also have the Rumble Rare Recruit, who is like the best Rumble Rare Recruit in the game outside of Rumble, like for normal use. And for Pro, I put the new Rare Recruit Yosu from the Ace and Akainu batch on JP. He does some attack down and the spear removal, I think, damage reduction, seed reduction. Very good unit. For Pedro, yeah, he was also pretty surprising as like 5 units. the most meh I'd say is the Colo one. He's a cerebral affinity booster that also does a lot of own HP cut. Very weird. But the others are very solid, especially the Event Pedro with great support and very good special, removing stuff like attack down, despair, doing orb manip. So yeah. Let's move on to the final two. We have Viola and Katakuri. We can start with Katakuri, and he's really held back by some of his story units, especially this one. The Dex one, all he does is some damage and 1.75 times attack boost for Powerhouse. Like, it's very borderline special. So Katakuri ended up getting quite a few ones that held him back. But yeah, he's got some good scores from like his V1 6+ legend here and the V3 legend. But yeah, he has like a lot of units that are pretty niche as well that held him back, like the Colo Katakuri as well. I'd say the Colo Katakuri is like definition of a niche unit, honestly. And yeah, for Viola, I think it's pretty funny that she ended at 2.5, because I'd say I describe Viola like that. Like, half of her units are not bad, but super meh. Like this Summer Viola, she does some silence reduction, some orb manip for top row, nothing special. And then like this Psy Rare Recruit, like all of the Summer Rare Recruit batch, super good. And yeah, she also has a limited Rare Recruit that is also Psy, that does like color affinity, seed reduction, low CD. Very good unit, use her a lot. So yeah, I think 2.5 points for her was very fitting. But yeah, I think I'll stop here for today. Tomorrow I'll go through rank 10 to 1. I hope this isn't too confusing. This is just a fun concept. So feel free to discuss what characters that can remain. Remember, it's only characters that has no bad units, only good, in quotation mark, units in One Piece Treasure Cruise. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.